1, 2, record. Good morning to all of our listeners. Your boy Hollywood Monies is back with an impromptu soapbox. It's here while it's fresh in my mind. Early wee hours of the morning on the southeast side of the country, namely Charlotte, North Carolina. You can hear the train going by. Currently watching or trying to listen to the top 80 XXL freshman ciphers of all time. So far we have Designer and then Block Boy JB, which I didn't even hear his because by that time I had given up on all music humanity as rappers or rap and hip hop. But that's not what I'm here to talk to you about. I'm actually here because the WWE has just released an extended clip of all of the WCW World Heavyweight Champions from 1991 until WCW's folding and then going to WWF. So just WCW, when they were with TNT, Billionaire Ted, all the way up until right when, the McMahons purchased them in The Last Champion. I want to talk about it because, I don't think I'll ever get the chance to talk with the bros. Iggy Azalea made this list. God, I love her. She is swaggy. How you do that there? How'd you mess that up? Seriously, man. The feds are everywhere, bro. Anyway, I was just watching this, and now that I've heard so many different interviews and shoots and things on what went wrong in WCW, you can see it unfold. And then in the beginning, I'm looking at these title wins from 1991, I believe, or 1990. So Sting loses to Flair off of double headbutt, both fall out. Flair lands on top of him, 1, 2, 3. And then I think after that, Lex Luger, the total package, the heel Lex Luger that busted Sting's knee on the stage. I don't know if you guys remember this. It depends on your age. I was really little. It happened at something that wasn't on TV, but it definitely happened. Heel Luger was a thing. Think he had valets. Don't remember who they were. Could have been Missy Hyatt. Could have been Medusa. Could have been, any long laundry list of former women's wrestlers for WCW. But the stories just sucked. A pile driver on Dustin Rhodes. I want to say that Sting was out of the picture, so Luger became champion. Then after Dustin and Luger, Sting beats Luger back for the title. I think that was a year in the making because it all happened at Bash at the Beach. But it was flying cross body press. Then Big Van Vader wins the title with a freaking shoulder block. Is it a block? No, it's the shoulder slam where you pick him up for the power slam, dump him on the knee. I don't remember what that's called, but that's how he won. Then I want to say Ron Simmons wins with a power slam. That's epic. First black WCW champion. Whoopie woo. Yeah. He loses the title right back, I think, or Sting. I don't know. Somebody loses to Vader at a house show with a Vader bomb. You see where this is tracking, right? And then we move into a all-black Hulk Hogan, but I think he was fighting Dungeon of Doom, so this was maybe foreshadowing, or he had to go into his black side to tap into the chi of fighting the Dungeon of Doom. I don't know. The Mummy was there. I was like, what the F? Hogan wins. So those first 4 or 5 horrible finishes as far as the actual finish with great athletes. The next ones are all vacated titles for the next 12 years, man. Hogan wins or something, then the Giant wins, Hogan wins, and it's vacated title. The title has been vacated. There's no way we know who won, so vacate. There was also obviously NWO Hogan, then that Kevin Nash finger poke of doom. That's a movie you cannot kick out of. I don't know why everyone's so mad about it. It's been proven time and time again. You can ask the fellow bros. You can't kick out of the finger poke of doom. It is proven, okay? But for the next 8 to 10 years, the title is vacated. Oh my God. And I hope the bros will talk about this with me. If they even watch, they're going to be we didn't even watch WCW. I'm dude, you missed so much cool stuff. But I can see why they ran themselves into the ground. So after all those, Dungeon of Doom, now you get the NWO, then you get the NWO Black and White. And then I'm forgetting storylines. I didn't know Sting kind of became a heel and beat a red and yellow Hogan. When did they get a red and yellow Hogan? And then went back to black and white Hogan? I don't know what happened. Bret Hart was involved. There's that whole thing. I think Kevin Nash was in control. Hulk Hogan had creative control over his character. So there's a lot of, no, I'm not doing that. And come on, Hogan, please. Title vacated. and Psycho Sid gets involved. And then you get some Scott. And so Psycho Sid starts getting involved. So all these older wrestlers, not to mention the Macho Man won a few titles. Ric Flair had a few title reigns. But a lot of these title reigns I'm mentioning, 1 day, 2 days, 20 days, 30 days, title vacated. The longest ones were Hogan. I think Vader had a long one. And I think Kevin Nash's maybe 7. It was jumbled. Bret Hart, Goldberg had a taser happen with Goldberg, then the finger poke of doom, which reunites the NWO. By this time, we're about to get Vince Russo as the writer. And then what you see, or what I see, is a changing of the storylines. Like they actually start to so you do some nonsense Jeff Jarrett. Diamond Dallas Page is in there. Diamond Dallas Page gets turned on by his girl. We saw that happen with the Macho Man and Elizabeth. I mean, God. And I remember Macho Man and Elizabeth. That was a great storyline. That was before the NWO. The Horseman, Flair was Flair. He was leading around Jeff. He had Woman, who is Chris Benoit's deceased wife. Rest in peace to both of them. And he had Miss Elizabeth. He stole her from Flair or from Mach. Stole his belt. They tormented him. And then he got his... anyway, there was some cool stuff. But the point is, the demise begins with Kevin Nash and them. They really just messed it up. So by the time Vince Russo comes in, and it's actually interesting, as the stories start to develop, they get a little cooler. Like you see the passing of the torch to now Booker T, Scott Steiner, really buff Scott Steiner, Jeff Jarrett. They're a little better, but the thing is, Vince Russo was always there. He was like the authority figure. The funny thing is when they completely break kayfabe and Hogan, this is a story from Vince, like they had talked to Hogan about dropping the belt to Jeff Jarrett. And he was like, yeah, sure, cool, whatever. Yeah, sure, cool, whatever. And then at the last minute, he's like, no. So Vince Russo has to change the story and make it, I think he made it that finger poke of doom. I don't know. I have to go and look. It's either he made it that or that's what Jarrett came up with because he was pissed that Hogan wouldn't do the job for him. So Hogan wouldn't do the job for him. Hogan, finger poke of doom on Jarrett. Well, no, Jarrett just lays down because he's pissed. Hogan takes his title, he leaves. I think they, move on from him, let him sit out his contract, and then they restart over, and you get these bookers and things. But the thing is, like, Vince Russo actually made a lot of sense at the end. His storylines were a lot better. Not David Arquette as the champion, or was it David Arquette Cox? Who wears the pants? I don't know. I don't even know what happened to Courtney Cox. Where is she nowadays? Where's David Arquette? Are they still together? I don't even know, bro. Point of it is, I wanted to talk about it because it was just terrible. Like, I couldn't believe that this is how they were booking the ends of world title matches in the early 90s and then all of the mid 90s. I mean, I remember that stuff, but like, gosh, that's teeth pulling stuff as an adult now. And then towards the end, you're like, oh snap, Booker T's in the mix. Okay, Ric Flair gets in there. It's like a face. Okay, controversy, Bret Hart, Jeff Jarrett, whatever. But it was getting better, but it was already too late. And Vince Russo, I don't even want to say it was him. I think there was just too much damage done with the NWO. I honestly believe that people got tired of it because all the stuff that happened with Book, I remember watching the last episode of Nitro, so I guess I watched, but I remember I must not have paid attention. I must have really just watched Raw and not cared. Because Nitro I remember being like, man, this NWO situation is too much. Like, everyone was in it. And I was just like, Sting's in it? Like, you were supposed to be the vigilante against it. Now you're in it. Now you ride for it. And you ride for the evil side. So I think so much damage happened. Vince Russo tried to fix it. Vince Russo's a creative genius, and a lot of people hated him, but it's because he was probably so talented. People are jealous of people that are as good as them or better. And his storylines made sense. Problem is, WCW just ran out of money. They gave too much money to the bigwigs and the Hogans and Nashes and Mach and all that, and they couldn't really afford to pay anyone. So it would have been interesting to see if they could have got like 5, 6, 7 more years, man. I mean, they had some cool stuff happening by the time, it went off the air with Booker T as champ, and then he shows up on Raw as champ, and, they did what they could with it. But I just wanted to talk about it because I just watched it. I might watch it again, and I might bring it back up. on the next episode of the Bros. But wow, I was just mind boggled by the stupidity of some of these endings. This is every WCW World Title win in 91 till 2001, because that's when the company went to WWE. And I remember I wasn't watching then because I was a freshman in college. That was like the end of my freshman year. I didn't watch at all because we had cable, but we freshmen in college, so we're doing freshman in college things, not sitting at home on Monday night. Sorry, Mom. I hope to talk about this more, but just wanted to give a little rant about it. My whole point is big thumbs down to 1991 up until not tarnishing some of the big title wins, but the storylines just look so stupid. I'm sorry, stupidest. I don't know who their creative writers were. I heard James Day Dillon say the title is vacated at least 10 times out of 13 title changes. What the F? Like, are you kidding me? Could be over exaggerating, but what do you guys think? Do you think that we know that NWO killed it, but do you agree with me? Do you think that a lot of WCW's world title storylines were stupid? Because I think they were. That's it for me for now. You now have like 35 minutes of me ranting about things. R.I.P. to XXXTentacion. He made the cut as number, I don't know, maybe 62, 61. I just wanted my hair to be blonde on one side like his, and I failed. All right, guys, money's out.